welcome to another episode of Work Boss Strategies, giving you the tips and tricks to empower your business growth, unlocking the secrets to your entrepreneurial success. And we also give you current events and news that relate to how you should shape your business and all of that. And today we're going to dive into how distractions can hinder our business growth when we're focusing more on distractions than we are on our business needs. And one of the distractions we got that we keep coming across on social media and on TV is who's the real GOAT?
Mm,
Michael Jordan versus LeBron.
right.
It's just a never ending story of who's the GOAT.
Who's
Somebody want to be number one.
right?
But is it really them just saying they want to be number one, or is it us just pushing the issue, pushing the narrative?
It's
One
us.
of the things that we straight up distracted about, because
Right.
neither one of them is worried about it.
Neither.
Neither one of them is worried about it. But
Then
people spending so much time trying to knock one guy down to lift another guy up, and neither one of them need help being lifted up. They're
Right.
both greats.
right.
So I'm a fan of both of them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So am I. I like them both. The thing is, first of all, it's the media, so they push it out, and then other people gravitate towards it because, like you said, it's a distraction. And instead of focusing on what they're supposed to focus on, they get sidelined by side chatter. That's what happens to a lot
Hmm.
of us. We get distracted by side chatter. You know, maybe you might need a break, but then you go to take the break, and you take the break doing something that's not positive, but you waste a lot of time worrying about something that really has nothing to do with you, or something that you can't even change.
Facts.
Right.
I'm your host, Darvest, and the other host with the most over there.
GUD.
Lately, people are focusing too much on things that don't matter.
Right.
Why?
Right.
That's the thing. They're using it as an escape route
Right.
from the real things they're going through. So
Mm-hmm.
they get to put their voice on this thing over here that really doesn't matter.
Right.
Let's just say the NBA came out today, right now, and said, you know what, the real GOAT is Michael Jordan,
Mm-hmm.
or they said the real GOAT is LeBron James. How does that impact your life, bro?
It doesn't. It doesn't impact my life whatsoever because it's not me that they're talking about. So why would I be worried about it? Why would
Right.
I be worried about it? It's not gonna help me get to where I need to get to in my journey in business. My business journey is not gonna help me whatsoever. If I say LeBron is the GOAT, or if I say Michael Jordan is the GOAT, and I give my reasons for either one, what is that gonna do? You know what? You're right, Gabe. I'm gonna promote you. I'm gonna give you this $1 million grant so your business can take off because you said Michael Jordan was the GOAT. Exactly not. It's not gonna happen.
Doesn't even matter. But so many people spend so much time and energy on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you spent that kind of time and energy on making more financial come ups for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
something might happen beneficial for you.
Right.
I
Something
mean, they
just
know
might
how
happen.
many shots this guy took. They know how
Right.
many steals he had in the fourth quarter. They know how many free throws he didn't miss. They know how
Right.
many this guy won and how many this guy lost.
Mm-hmm.
How many
Right.
fourth quarter shots he made and missed. How many times he passed the ball instead of taking the shot. I mean, if you put that kind of energy into yourself, you would improve.
Right. You would improve.
So don't distract yourself.
Your business would improve.
So don't distract yourself. If you're trying to run a business, you ain't got time to be focusing on stuff that don't impact your business.
Right.
I mean, I'm a sports fan. I'm not saying don't watch sports. I'm saying don't become so loyal to the sports that you ain't loyal to yourself as much when you have something to do,
Exactly. Exactly.
especially professionally or personally. If you have something you need to do to improve, focus on that more than who played tonight.
Exactly. Yes, indeed.
do you get any
You must hear that.
yeah, for any new entrepreneurs or people that's just starting out,
Mhm.
do you got any examples of what a possible distraction might be to them?
Uh, well,
Like what kind of distractions might they don't know might not be a possibility,
right. So when you first start being an
but it
entrepreneur,
happens to most people.
right. So when you first start being an entrepreneur, or you you ready to set forth that plan to do it, your major and first distraction is going to be your family and your friends. No doubt about it. Your family and your friends. Now they're going to distract you either one or two ways. They're either going to support you or they're not. So if they're not going to support you, that means you're going to fall into a category of resentment. You're going to fall into a resentment category because now you're fighting against somebody that you believe is supposed to have your back,
Hmm.
but they don't.
Yeah, and we're gonna get into that a little bit later on in the show.
Right.
You got a ghost in there?
Yeah, it's a ghost in here causing a distraction. It just happened. It was a distraction inside my video room.
So
Trying,
stay tuned, like and subscribe, because hey, that was just a epiphany right there.
right. You seen it. I was explaining to you what it is, and you seen it happening just then. There was a distraction in the room because it wanted to know what we were doing. So it pretended like it needed to come in here and do something.
Just stick around, hit that subscribe button, hit some comments, let us know how you got distracted. Do you focus on who the GOAT is? Like, tell us, do you have a strong passion of who you think the GOAT is? I know everybody do because it's happening every day. It's talked about every day.
Every single
But does it matter? It does not matter.
day. Does
But
not
just
matter.
stick around because we're about to hit you with some realness. We got all kind of stuff for you. So just stick around because we're going to go into what kind of distractions come with being an entrepreneur. You need to learn all this stuff. You need to know it. You might not know what you're getting into, so we're going to tell you before you get into it so you'll know how to navigate once you
True.
get to that specific spot.
Exactly. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We'll holler after these messages.
In all honesty, is you get paid off of potential. You get paid off of potential in our sport. And most of our young kids come in now, we don't know how great they're gonna be, but yet they got 5-year guaranteed, millions of dollars, admirations of many.
Why?
The reason is that when you look back in our era,
Yeah.
you know, Michael Jordan, the Magic Johnsons, Larry Bird, Charles Barkley's, we earned what we got. Now they get that before they play one game. So in essence, you're paying the kid off of potential. I think it sets bad work ethic. When you get something so easily, you're not gonna work as hard.
When it comes to discipline, you have to sacrifice loved ones. You have to sacrifice loved ones for a long period of time if you want to be great. It is very unfortunate. I am getting up every single day at 5 or 6 a.m. And when I get home after everyone leaves the gym, I'm going to take a nap. So now you're sacrificing your loved ones because you're not spending time with them. And when I wake up, I'm probably going to train again. And then I'm going to have dinner. And then I'm going to bed. And I'm going to do that every single day for a long period of time. That's sacrificing and discipline. I got my best friends from high school that's now in college. And they're calling me, telling me, you got to come down to these parties. You're not going to college. You're never going to be in college. And I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it.
You asked for my hustle, I gave you my heart, because it came with so much more. It's the ultimate sacrifice. Greatness has a cost. It reschedules your plans for you. It puts your family and friends on hold. It makes you feel misunderstood. And it will put you in some deep, dark holes.
Just got a question, bro. When it comes to business, and you got a personal life, can you from your personal experience, can you just give a couple tidbits of what kind of distractions come with that? Well, you don't necessarily, we can just have a back and forth, because I know being a full-time dad, I missed out on a lot.
Right.
PTA meetings, basketball games, homecoming games. That I missed out on all of that because I had a partner that was there to fill the void. But what happens is, even my partner started to say, why do I got to keep going to all these things? Like, when are you going to be a part of these things that you are missing? And what I was saying was, people don't understand the journey you on. They don't understand what it takes to navigate down that road. So they stuck at where they are at. They aren't in it in the mindset of an entrepreneur. They're in it as whatever person they are. You're the entrepreneur. So sometimes I didn't do well with giving a message of my entrepreneurship. They think it's something far-fetched. I'm trying to bet on myself and create something. They don't even fathom this because they're thinking on this employee mindset. I don't count the kids. The kids are looking at it from a kid's perspective. My dad ain't coming. My dad missed another thing. So it's going to take them a while to understand. But when you have a spouse that's a grown-up, and you tell them every day, you communicate with them every day where your goals are, what you need to do to achieve these goals. If they don't respect the goals, they don't care. All they're looking for is the result. So you're going to get a lot of distractions from family.
It's crazy.
Because they don't understand the road you on.
And not only we get the distraction from them, you'll get almost like sabotage. They're trying to sabotage what you're doing. Really knock it because of the way you explained it. It's like they don't have that mindset. That's your mindset. You're the entrepreneur. So they're not really with you on it. So you almost really can't blame them because when y'all went into the marriage or the relationship, that might not have been discussed. That might have been something that you just felt like, you know what, I feel I can do this. So in their mind, they still thinking it's this. The relationship is still like this. So once you change and maybe you done grown or you seen something, you're like, hey, I'm gonna try this out. So now they really not with because that differentiate what they're used to. So you'll get a lot of backlash from that. And being that that's your significant other, you really want them to be on your team. You really want them to have your back. But then when they don't have your back, there's a lot of opposition and a lot of resentment that happens. Sometimes it can be very detrimental to the relationship. So you're
Definitely.
Most of your distractions are going to come from the people that's closest to you. Especially if they've been with you and they haven't known you to be this entrepreneur that you're trying to be. So now, like you said, it's something that's far-fetched. Because most of the time, especially with us, to be an entrepreneur, you might have to get a loan or something. So now if you don't qualify to get loans or anything, now you really got to grind. Now you really got to hustle. So that's going to take more time away from the family because you got to get out there and grind. You got to get out there and hustle because you can't get it like a normal entrepreneur. They might be able to go get a loan from somebody or might be able to get something, they got an uncle or parents that might give them some money. But if you don't have nobody that can do that for you, you don't have no institution that can give you a loan, then you got to go out there and hustle and make it happen. So that puts another strain on that relationship. So you're going to get more and more distractions to try to keep you from doing what you're trying to do. I had to do that. I had to deal with that for years because it takes years. See, they take years. Like, well, how long is this going to take? A year? I give you a year. You can't get nobody a year to be an entrepreneur.
Most businesses fail in 3 to 4 years.
Months. Right.
It's I mean, I understand that, but within that year, because I had that same proposition, bro. I had a spouse that said, I'll give you 12
Right.
months to get this going. So when I brought this idea up to her, I said, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. And this is where I want to get. These are the projections I see. And in order to get these projections, I have to do this, this, and this. And this should be the projections. So she agreed to it, said, okay, I could go with that. But the problem was, all they see is the outcome. They do not give a damn about progress. So when I was going through this, and this, just going through the steps that it takes. Now, I don't know how long it's going to take these steps. First of all, when I came up with this idea, it was going through COVID. Like when it first came out. So what happened was I had this business idea that this can happen from this business idea. All I got to do is this, and this. So in the middle of me doing this and this, COVID happened, and then the whole country's on lockdown to where the only places we could go was to the grocery store, back home. That was it. So my business was photography and videography. I have to be around other people to shoot a video. We weren't even allowed to go to funerals at the time. So it put my business at a halt. It didn't matter if I had a loan or not. There was nowhere to go implement my skills. There was nowhere to go. What was I going to do? Videotape for the grocery stores? Like there was nothing to do. You had to go home and sit there. My kids were at home going to school. The schools weren't even open. Barbershops weren't open. The movie theaters weren't open. Restaurants weren't open. You couldn't go to church. More people have internet, Facebook Live, or live recordings for church now because of the pandemic. It was something that we've all experienced together for the first time. So I got penalized for that because my business wasn't bringing in money like it was, like I said it would. But how is it supposed to bring in money if everything's shut down? So where do I go make money when the whole city shut down? You ain't even allowed outside. The only place you go is the grocery store, the doctor's office, and the hospital. And even when you were in the hospital, they told you your whole family can't visit you. Only one or two people can visit.
Yeah.
So that lets you know how severe the situation was. But she didn't look at any of that. She just looked at, you're not coming home with any money. Well, I didn't plan on a pandemic. That wasn't in my business plan.
Not in the business plan.
A pandemic wasn't in my business plan. It completely altered my projections. So the pandemic itself was a distraction.
That was a distraction, man, major distraction.
And then you brought up resentment. Now, resentment is going to work on both ends. As an entrepreneur, you're going to get resentment because your spouse is not supporting you. And people think support is, I need you to give me money so I can get all this stuff going on. That's not what I'm talking about. When you break your ankle, do you got to pay money to your crutch? The crutch just supports that foot so you don't have to bear all the weight on it. You don't have to give your crutch money every time it take a step for you. So support is, I might need you to help me see what I'm doing wrong and come to me in a way where you can help me improve. Or I'll give you an example. This is a good example of support. Let's say you have a restaurant, not a restaurant. Let's say you just sell plates at the house. Let's just say you sell plates at the house. You got a passion for cooking, so you're cooking at the house, and you want to sell plates to people in the neighborhood. Your spouse works at a place where they always order out for lunch, and you don't tell nobody at work that you know where to get some good food at. Y'all just keep ordering takeout from Applebee's for $16.99 a person, instead of getting the plates that your spouse is making for $9 a plate, where everybody saves money and it's good food. So instead of doing that, y'all keep going to Applebee's while I'm selling plates at the house. And when you come home, you saying it's styrofoam everywhere. You ain't sold no plates.
Exactly.
Help them get to where they need to get to. It's not always about money. It's not about me. I don't want you to take care of me. I'm doing this so I can take care of everybody in the family.
And you said,
so it's them kind of things.
I didn't say it, but you told my exact story. You told my exact story of how to raise. I had a gospel group. I have a gospel record label, so I had a gospel group, So to raise money so we can go. We was going on the Dr. Bobby Jones show, going to Vegas to sing and stuff like that. So what we would do is we would make dinners and sell dinners. But instead, like you said, she worked at a place that where she could have told or passed the flyers out that I made that we was passing out. She could pass them on to people at their job. They always ordering, like you said, ordering up. Never did it. Never did it, not one time. And not only never did it, but then talked about what we was doing. So that's the part that really, and I said that resentment, when I
That's where the resentment come in.
heard that he was talking about what I was doing, like I'm trying to do this and I'm trying. So that what that did for me was that at first it pushed me away, but then it put a drive in me to be successful. That was like my motivation. I used that for motivation. I said, "Oh, you think I'm just trying?
Mm-hmm.
Or you think I'm not gonna really do this?" I said, "Okay, I don't need you to help." So that's where that resentment came in, because you supposed to be my spouse, my wife, supposed to have my back, but you talking about me in the streets. See what I'm saying? So it just did something, and what happened is resentment happened. What happened, and that will totally destroy your relationship. So I mean,
Yep.
that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, it's a two-edged sword, because while you feeling resented and you getting pushed away, so you're away, you're disconnected because you're resenting what's going on right here. So the effect of that is they start growing resentment because you away. You're not giving them your undivided attention, and they looking at it like, why ain't they been here? Why ain't they been doing this? But they don't understand the reason I'm not there is because of the disrespect I experience that you don't see. You don't see it as disrespect.
And I'm not gonna say nothing.
So it's like that situation you had. I went through that same thing when I was a photographer. I told her, I never owned a camera in my life. I got to learn how to use the camera. Right? So I'm starting from nothing and trying to get something out of it. So I went to, first of all, this was the thing. I started getting a lot of education from like directors and filmmakers and photographers on YouTube. And I came across two different schools. I'm not going to call them schools. I'm going to call them courses that were on YouTube. And the two courses were how to become a professional photographer without school. So that title hit me. It just seemed like, during COVID, you're looking for something extra to do. That's why there's so many podcasts now, because during COVID, even comedians, they couldn't go out and do live shows. Singers and rappers, they couldn't go out and do live shows. So they implemented social media to be able to stay relevant. And they come up with podcasts or video content. So I said, the reason I started doing photography was because I've always done music. I've been doing music since 2002, producing music, making beats, writing songs. I've been doing that since 2000. And as I was making beats and engineering and doing this and that, I always realized that when a rapper or a singer or whatever artist comes out with a project, they need cover art to entice people to be intrigued in whatever track they're trying to promote. So they need an album cover. So whether it be graphic design or taking a picture of them, which is photography, and making it enticing for people to buy, depths of field, understanding the background and having them focus on the main subject, stuff like this. I said, okay, I already know how to make beats, so I can do that. But once I was in the studio, all of these songs, there are going to be a couple of songs on their projects that they need album cover for this entire project. Okay, so let me start doing graphic design and photography. Then once I start doing graphic design and photography, I noticed that people that make the music videos are getting more than the people that design album covers. So I said, well, let me go from photography to videography. All it is a video is nothing but a whole bunch of still frames in motion. That's all it is. Now, with my projections, and I told my spouse, this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to learn photography, and then once I learn photography, I'm going to figure out how to get clients. So remember, I told you I had 2 courses about how to be a professional photographer without going to
Exactly.
school. So the one course was teaching you how to use cameras. So I could use any camera you hand me right now. I never went to any 4-year college. I know how to light up any scene. I know how to design a scene. I know what lenses to put on for whatever look I'm trying to get to. And I also know how to get clients from the second course. So one course was about how to use cameras, how to use different angles, and how to use the rule of thirds, and how to use ISO and aperture and shutter speed, and figure out these things to give you different looks. A 35 millimeter camera from a 220 millimeter. I know the difference. That's what the one course was about. The second course was, once you figure out how to learn all these cameras, you need to go out and get clients. What do? The problem was getting clients in a countrywide lockdown was an issue. It was an issue. So what I could have did was what all my homies was doing in the hood that didn't have a business, and they fabricated a way to get a PPP loan. I didn't go that route. I just waited it out. And because I waited it out, I got penalized for it by my spouse because I wasn't bringing any money in. But I had a plan on photography. So I learned how to use the cameras from one course. So I took this one course, and it taught me everything you need to know about any kind of camera, a cinematic camera, a regular camera, your phone, how to take good pictures every single time, leading lines, depths of field, the different distances you need to be, how to get them to focus on the subject and not everything in the background. Okay, great. The second course was, once you know how to use a camera, how do you go get clients? So I said, yeah, that is pretty important. You got to figure out how to. So I'm thinking you just got to go out and tell people, hey, I take pictures. No, that's not what I did. It's not what I did. The course told you how to be real savvy.
Take pictures. That's a good one.
But it's in a pandemic, so there's nobody to go out and talk to. There's nobody to market to. So all there is social media. This is why podcasts started to grow. Comedians were at the house. Singers are at the house. Rappers are at the house. Actors are at the house. Can't nobody go to the movies. Nobody's producing a movie. Nobody's at a concert. Nobody's paying tickets to a comedy show. We're not allowed in there. Nobody was allowed to go. So their livelihood, they had to make a serious adjustment. Like, all right, what do I do? So a lot of these comedians got on Instagram, Twitter, and start making videos and creating content online and trying to monetize that. So then I had to shift my photography and videography to online status. Now, when you starting off from nothing, let me tell y'all, anybody that's starting a social media page and you just started, you're going to have a lot of work to put in. It's not just, don't think you're going to make a post and as soon as you make that post, 1 million people going to view it. It don't work like that.
You think because you got a lot of friends
that was
all your right. But the thing
they're
is,
not your friends.
When you first make a post, you think all your friends on your friends list going to see that post. No, only 1% of them will see that. Only 1%.
Mm-hmm. So if you got 4,000 friends on Facebook, let's just take Facebook. You got 4,000 friends. They max you out at 5,000, and you make a post about your high school reunion, and you think everybody that went to your high school gonna see it. No, only 1% of the people that went to your high school gonna see it. And then Facebook looks at how that post does, and then they give it to another 1%. And then once it does well on that 1%, they say, all right, for another hour, let's give it to 3% of people. And then it keeps moving. If you ain't doing that, it takes a long time. And it's not the same for everybody because we don't all make the same type of posts. We don't all have the same type of business. So we all can't have the same time. So the distractions that I used to deal with, bro, during COVID, where instead of understanding there's no possible way he can make money doing this, it got so bad in the country that if you did have a business, you could file for a PPP loan. and get money. Now, the problem was
Right.
when I started my business, it was only 2 months before COVID happened. So I didn't feel right about trying to get a PPP loan for a company that's only been open for 2 months. They're not going to give you nothing for that. But people used to fabricate they tax forms and say that this business was open for a year
Right.
and I was making 50,000. So they give them a 200 because it's a payment protection loan. Is what a PPP loan was. It was they giving you money so that you can pay your staff, keep your utilities and all that on, just in case you're not making a dollar for the next year. That's what a PPP loan was for. But people were conning, and I said, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to falsify my LLC, and I'm just not going to do it. So I just weathered the storm. So I thought I had a spouse that understood why I wasn't making money. I'm not making money because I'm not applying myself. I'm not making money because I can't.
Right.
The law said I can't. Yeah. The law said I can't go out there and promote. So I'm like, okay, so where are the timeout? Now, I understand that the timeout doesn't stop bills from being due. So we're in a house I own.
Right.
I own the house. So there's no rent, there's no mortgage. All there is utilities. But you remember how you said earlier, they're not used to changes? Like when y'all first come together, both of y'all got a job and both of y'all doing this and that, and then you just decide, I'm giving this up and I'm gonna go do this. People will come to you and say, you chasing a dream. But how is it a dream if I got steps that will make it a reality? So they'll say, oh, you trying your little hobby? Those are things that will grow resentment. Because one of the distractions I used to go through is, okay, it's a pandemic. There is no possible way to get clientele right now. So what do? Do I change and do something else? Even if I applied for a job, a lot of jobs were laying off because their industry was on lockdown. The only people that was getting jobs, and they came out with the term essential workers. So if you weren't in the hospital or you weren't a nurse or like an essential worker, where you going to apply for a job at? Because all them closed. So it's like you didn't look at what my journey was. You only focused on your journey. And I used to get this a lot. When are we going to spend more time together? So I asked, like, maybe I don't recommend people to do this. I'm a little free. I'm free enough to say what I want to say, and I'm not worried about your reaction to what I'm going to say. I'm not disrespectful. I'm not just going to say anything I want to say, but I'm free enough to say what I mean, and you might not understand what I mean. That's on you. If you don't understand who I am and you misinterpret what I said, that's on you. It's not on me. You got to understand who I am, not what you want my words to mean. That was one problem. So she said, why aren't we doing this? Why aren't we doing that? Why don't we spend quality time together? Can I ask you a question, bro? If we're going through a pandemic and nobody's allowed outside, you can't go out anywhere. No movies. You can't go putt-putt. You can't go to a comedy show. There's no concerts. Restaurants aren't open. How are we not spending quality time together if we all stuck in a house?
And you know what really solidifies that? Check this out. All those places were closed, right? And just say that all the places closed in a big city. But you lived in a small city that didn't really have no jobs, even when there wasn't no pandemic. So when the pandemic came, there really was no jobs. So you was just in a dry area. You was just in a dry area in the desert. And she wanted to go out and have fun. So you know what she wanted you to do? When she said, we're not spending no quality time, she wanted you to grab her hand and y'all just walk around the block. My bad, I couldn't help it.
Hey.
You know what? I'm going to spend some, come on, let's just walk around the block. Put our mask on first, though.
It puzzled me, man, because you're talking about quality time and everybody in the house is in the house. The kids didn't have school. They're going to school online. You got to work from home at your job. And my job, I used to work for Hobart, which is pretty much a kitchen repair company. So we repair anything that's broke down in your commercialized kitchen. Like a restaurant, a school, a jail. They laid a lot of people off because restaurants closed down. There's nowhere to go. there's no work. So I'm at the house. I have nothing to do. I'm at the house. So instead of just sitting there playing the PlayStation, I said, I'm gonna figure out if this situation happens again where we on a lockdown, I'm gonna have some kind of system in place that I can make things work for me. So I started off in social media thinking that I'm funny, I'm smart. I could entice people to do certain things. I think I could be an influencer, right? But me not being in that field before, I didn't know what it took. I was just looking at people on TikTok. One person made a TikTok video and they just blew up. They just blew up doing a little dance.
Right.
So I'm like, it's that easy? No, it's not that easy. That person got lucky, but it's not that easy. So I'm in the house, and what puzzled me was you complaining about I'm not spending quality time with you. So I said, I don't recommend people to be as free as I was. I said, does quality time pay bills? Like, how much money you got from cuddling, bro?
Not that much.
I was saying, like, I mean, the only bill it's paying is her emotional needs is paid off.
I'm trying to make sure I didn't get no money for cuddling. I'm trying to think of all my, things I used to do back in the day. Nah, some people, some girls, do cooking breakfast count?
This is the thing, though, bro. This is what I'm gonna get to. This was the problem I had. It's not that there was a lack of quality time. The lack was in how she wanted the time spent.
Now we're getting there. Because I know they were wondering,
so
what are you talking about, this quality time? Now we're going to get to the nitty gritty.
Yeah. You got to figure out how they want to spend the time. It's not, you can be next to them all day. That don't mean nothing. It means diddly squat to them. You need to be looking at them in the eyes. You need to googly eye them. At least, if you're with them for an hour, you got to googly eye them for at least 42 minutes so they feel your presence.
It's almost like having a little kid. You ever heard your little kid say, Daddy, or call him Mama, and they'll just keep saying it till you look at them? That's because
it's because you ain't looking at them. You hear them and you can say what, but they're going to keep saying your name until you actually look at them.
So you can see
and stop what you're doing.
When they do that. It's almost like a little kid, but that's how they be. That's how they be. They want you.
Yep.
They want your full, undivided attention, and if you're not giving them that quality time you think it is, don't really count for nothing.
This is the thing, though. It's okay to want somebody's undivided attention. That's fine with me. But why do you always need their undivided attention when you know they're trying to do something? This is why we talk about distractions. They only want your undivided attention when you're trying to do something and they're not supporting you to get there. This is what I learned from my mother and father. My dad was a humongous sports fan. Remember we was talking about who the GOAT is? I bet you he got an opinion. I bet you he would have an opinion of who the GOAT is or who the best team is. He was a Steeler fan and all that. So he could tell you who the best Steeler he think was. He could tell you who the best basketball player he think was. He didn't seen a lot. So what I learned from my mother and my father, my mother especially, what I learned from my mom is what I expected other women in my life to do. And they ain't panned out. My parents was married for over 40 years, which takes a skill. It takes a complete skill. Your master's degree ain't nothing. People that's been married for 40 years, they got a doctorate. So my dad was a big sports fan. He'll watch any basketball game on because it's going to lead whoever he's watching to play his favorite team, and then he can dissect what's going on. So I always see my dad in there sitting on the couch watching games. First of all, he paid bills. He contributed to the house. He wasn't just a sit-around guy. This guy handled his business. So let's get that out the way. He handled his business. We didn't have no worries in the world. When he comes home from work, he sit there and relax and watch the games. Football game, baseball game, whatever was on. So before I was born, my mom told me before I was born, She didn't understand why he was focusing on the TV more than her. And she felt a certain kind of way. So instead of trying to get him to stop watching the things he liked to watch, these are things he's interested in. So instead of trying to change him, what she did was she got interested in what he was interested in. So she started watching the baseball games with him. She's sitting right there with him watching the games. A football game come on Sundays, she'd go cook. And when she cooked, she'd make their plates and they watched the game together. Now, what she realized was attaching to his interests, she was able to spend more quality time with him.
Some people miss that, dog. Some people miss that. What she did.
Yeah, they missed it, especially the females. They don't want to adjust their own ego. My mom said, you know what? What do he like? My dad used to bowl. He used to be in the league where he bowl every Monday. What does she do? She'd go bingo, and after bingo, go watch his games. Instead of being at the house and calling him saying, when you gonna be done bowling? You ain't got to worry about when he's done because you're there with him. You ain't got to worry about when the game gonna go off because you're there with him watching the game.
She started bowling too.
Right. If you attach yourself to what your man's interests are, you will become one of his interests.
Look at it. What was we doing? She said,
Mom know how to bait a hook.
She know how to take the fish off the hook.
Know how to take the fish off the hook. If you want to spend time with your man, attach yourself to his interests instead of trying to distract him from what he's interested in. I know it's a big deal. I know it's a hard pill to swallow. You say, why I got to change and he ain't got to change. Because you want his quality time. If you want his quality time, you need to attach to what he feels is quality. Not that he don't respect you or look at you. Just look at what he's interested in. The more you get attached to those things, the more he's going to think you're interesting because you're doing things that he's interested in. How many dudes like going to the opera? How many dudes like going to a musical? How many dudes like going to a garden greenhouse looking at all the flowers? That's what you like. No, I mean, you want your dude to go out and discover how many different butterflies there are because that's something you like to do. But the thing is, I got this quote, bro. It's not my quote. It's a quote everybody uses, but I put a different meaning to it. You got to pay attention, right? Pay attention. You heard that before, right? I just add one more word in there, though. You have to pay for attention. Not money, but you have to contribute something to keep me interested. If I go to a movie where I'm paying money to buy a ticket to go in and see this movie and it's boring, sometimes I walk out. This ain't for me. I shouldn't have watched this. I paid for one of them Saw movies and I took a date and it was too vulgar. It was too I don't like needles, right? Like going to the doctor and I got to get some kind of blood. I have an issue with that. So I went to a Saw movie to where they threw this person in an empty swimming pool full of needles to where they had to swipe through the needles to find the key to unlock the lock that had them locked in their foot. So they had to swipe through these syringes to get to a key. It almost did something to me. So I walked out the movie. So that's how I feel as a person. For me, if I want you to stick around, I got to be interesting enough for you to not venture off and start thinking of other things. So if you're my spouse and you feel like I'm not spending enough time on you, it would help to either be into what I'm interested in or be more interesting than what I'm interested in. So I know a lot of dudes go through being on the Xbox or being on the PlayStation. They playing Grand Theft Auto, NBA 2K. They're playing all of these things and they locked in because they're escaping from the real world for a minute and it's relieving them. And you worried about why they not spending time with you or paying attention to you. Be more interesting than the game they playing. I see a lot of people that complain about they dudes on the game too much. That's your problem. He watched TV too much. That is your problem. You know why he watched TV more than he spent time with you? because whatever he's watching is more interesting than you are. It's a hard pill to swallow. I know it sounds like I'm shallow, but what I learned from my mother was that she attached herself to what her husband was interested in. That's game every woman should figure out. But their ego is so important that they don't want to let their ego go for happiness. But they'll call you narcissistic because you focusing on other
That's a good
things.
topic.
But what my mom did was said, I'm interested in these things, but he's interested in these things. If I want to spend more time with him, I need to do the things he's interested in. And I would spend all day with him. I say my parents spent all day together. They were business partners.
Right.
So my dad worked at a steel mill for decades, and it was about to close down. And he said, honey, I'm not going to be making money here no more because it's going to close down. They're going to sell it and change it into something else. So I want to open up my own business. She didn't say, well, I'm used to two incomes coming in here. I'm used to two incomes coming in here. I work at this medical facility, and you at the steel mill. We getting this, and we taking care of the kids. You need to go get a job somewhere so we can keep this going on.
Didn't do that.
Not only did she support him, she went with him, because when she was bickering in the beginning about his idea, the place she was working at a couple years later decided to sell to a different owner and change it to something else, so everybody lost their job anyway.
See that?
She didn't just say, I'm gonna watch and see if you make this business work. That's not what she said. What she said was, I'm gonna help you get this business to work.
That's what I gotta do.
Right. So when she said what I gotta do, now they both had a savings, but it was gonna go. Because I was at a high school at the time where they were paying tuition for me to go there. So I had to leave that school and go to a public school.
Right.
Like everybody else. So I was wondering why I had to transfer schools, because I was still a kid looking at it from a kid's mindset. Like, I'm doing good over here, but I'm not looking at it like it's not feasible for us to keep you going there. We're not going to be able to pay for that. We put all our money into this. So he started the business. Now we still got bills. Not only do we have bills, our house caught on fire. So we lost everything. We had nothing. My mother said, you know what? You get the business going because I trust you. I'm going to go work at JTV Steel at 48 years old, 52 years old, going to JTV Steel as a woman. Now she's the breadwinner at this point. Cold Metal Products was closed. Dad used his savings to knock down a house in Boardman. We didn't live in Boardman. He went to a better city, knocked a house down, and built a company there with his savings.
Bought the whole land.
And now we from ground zero, like, let's see what happens. So instead of just her sitting there watching him to see if he gonna fail or not, she paid the bills from the JTV Steel job. She was like 52 at the time, working at a steel mill. She didn't say, my man ain't a man because he ain't contributing. He contributed for 30 years. All of us were grown, taken care of, had our own houses. He did what he was supposed to do. But so many women don't have the makeup to be able to take care of a man. They don't know how to support a man. Women look for a man that's already built up, so she ain't got to do no work, which is why they never find them. Because they don't want you. They don't want you. Because you don't want to do no work to keep them.
For one night.
Yeah, they want you for one night. It was one of the biggest things I learned from my mom that other women couldn't match. I went through so many distractions. When I first started making beats, I was a beat maker first. I was not a producer. I would just make beats, which is just an audio idea that you can hand to an engineer and he know how to make it radio ready. Then I found out this dude make more money off my idea than I do because he knows how to EQ and mix and do all of this engineering stuff. So then I went from just making beats to being a producer. And it's about growth. It's about growth. So my mother seen my dad's growth and trusted his idea. She trusted his idea. And not only did she trust his idea, he helped his idea happened. Okay, our house burned down. I know we still need bills at this new spot we moving to. So to save money, we're going to take our son out of this private school that we got to pay for. We're going to send him to a public school that's free as hell. And we're going to use the money we save up to help this business get going. She trusted him with that. And she said, well, I know you're not trying to. He worked for the place for 40 years. 37 years.
Just about 40.
37 years or something. Just you might as well say 40. And for his anniversary, his 35th year anniversary, you know what they gave him? A watch. Not a bonus. A watch that he could have went and bought his damn self. But she trusted him and said, okay, I heard your plan. I trust you because I seen you raise 3-4 kids and they all doing well. I'm gonna help you do this. And the way I'm gonna help you do this is by letting you go focus on that. So you ain't gonna have to worry about us being at this apartment where all the bills is included in the damn rent. So I'm gonna go to work. Myself. I'm gonna come home. I'm gonna cook too. You ever seen mom not cook? She used to go to that steel mill and get off and cook. And then when she cooked, now she gonna lay down. But when I was looking at that, I just thought every woman do that. And they do not. If you're not providing for them financially, nothing else matters. They think providing is paying all the bills.
That's probably one of our mistakes.
So what's security? What's raising the kids? What's giving the kids concepts, knowledge, and principles? That's not a contribution. So I learned a lot from her, and that's why a lot of the ladies in my life are no longer in my life. They ain't had that kind of pedigree. Because so many women think, if I gotta contribute to a man's success, he ain't no man.
See, they've been watching too much TV. Watching too much TV.
Yeah, they've been watching too much TV.
They don't realize that's just acting. That's just acting. That ain't really real life.
A relationship is about the both of y'all, not just you. Just to close out, we talked about Michael Jordan and LeBron James, who the GOAT is. And it's just a subtle distraction that keeps you from your own goals. We talked about our own personal experiences and how we dealt with distractions. People we learned from that had distractions. We had the supreme example of how to support a spouse. And people that don't do that, we ain't rocking with you for long. Your time counting down, not counting up. So it's important to figure out what distractions is surrounding you so that you can eliminate yourself from those distractions. Let them be there. Them distractions can be there, but you got to figure out how you can evolve and avoid the distractions. Don't worry about who the GOAT is. Don't worry about who ain't supporting you. Don't worry about who ain't liking or commenting on your posts. Only focus on the people that are. Only focus on the people that are actually supporting you. And that's how you will become a GOAT at your own business success or your personal success. Set a goal, make a plan, and execute the plan and get toward the goal. Whether you fail or not, the failure is to let you know you need to correct some things in your blueprint and you'll still get closer to your goal. Don't take a fail as a loss. It's a learning lesson. So you can take an L as long as the L is learning.
Learn from your L.
Yeah, turn the L into learning, a learning opportunity. But check this out. Like and subscribe to the channel. We're only going to get better. We're only going to get better, and we're going to keep dropping dimes to help you become a better person and a better professional. So click the subscribe button, hit some comments, and let us know what distractions you've experienced in your life. And maybe we get back with you and tell you how to adjust. You got to make adjustments to whatever's going on.
Check it out, Darvas.
But,
Check it out.
yep.
We got one executive decision form.
Just one?
What we got? Maybe we can do two.
Now, what he's mentioning is the segment of the show everybody be waiting for. Because the executive decision is the situation where you have to choose between two scenarios. You got to weigh your options and see which one is the best for you. A lot of businessmen got to do this every day. Like, which way should I go?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So this is the executive decision. Let's see how many we get through. A lot of them is easy, so you might get through pretty quick. So
Right.
this is the first one. All right, executive decision, folks. Choose between having diarrhea on your first day at your dream job or having diarrhea on your first date with your dream girl.
Oh man. No matter what, you're gonna take an L on one of those. You're gonna take
Yes,
an L.
sir.
So what would you rather? Would you rather lose the job or would you rather lose the girl? I can get another girl. I can always.
I mean, it's your dream girl, but you know how many dreams I done
had
had?
a few dreams. Well, I had a few. Yeah, I'm gonna keep the job.
Yeah.
I'll let the girl go. Yeah.
I feel you. I would have diarrhea on the first date because it's the first date with her, but she don't give me a paycheck every week, every 2 weeks,
Right.
or a salary. So I could bypass her. It might be my dream girl or whatever, but what's that supposed to mean? All right, check this one out, bro. I know you ain't gonna like this one. You gotta choose between going in the bathroom stall and seeing $10,000 in the toilet, but it's covered in doo-doo. Or you gotta donate $1,000 every month for the rest of the year.
I'm donating it for the rest of the month. For the rest of the year.
I knew you was gonna say that because for y'all that don't know, this guy won't take the last couple squirts of ketchup out of the bottle. It gotta be full. Ain't nobody even tasting the last couple squirts. It ain't like you licked him and put him back in the bottle. He ain't gonna deal with that last couple squirts.
That's what you know when you gotta
It
be
got-
up here.
It gotta be a sufficient amount. It gotta be a sufficient amount of ketchup.
I ain't gonna use them. If it's at the bottom where you gotta go like that, you might throw that in the trash. You might have to get rid of that. I ain't doing that. Yeah, no, I ain't putting my hand in no doo doo.
You can wash the money off though, bro.
You still gotta touch it. You still gotta put your hand in there and get it.
It's 10 stacks.
And have it before I walk.
All right. Let us know what y'all would pick.
It's a lot of
Let us
nasty
know what y'all
people
would
out there.
pick.
I know it. That's why COVID came out.
All right, check this out, bro. All right. Choose between wearing wet socks for a week or wet underwear for a week.
I'm wearing wet socks for a week. My drawers ain't about to be wet. I might catch pneumonia.
Hey,
I ain't about that.
I tell you what, I hate
I
wet
hate them
socks.
too, but I really hate wet
But
drawers.
I don't think I've ever experienced wet drawers before. That might make me pee. Now I got wet drawers and I peed on myself. I definitely don't want that. I could walk around in wet socks. I can deal with that. It's irritating, but I can deal with wet socks more than I can deal with wet drawers or underwear. I can't.
Nah, sticky
can't
to your
deal
skin
with
and
that.
everything.
All right, how about this one? Choose between having to skip everywhere you go or you got to sing and dance whenever you speak to somebody.
I told somebody if I could sing, I wouldn't even talk to people. I would sing everything.
But you are who you are.
I am. Oh, you mean
Like who you are right now? Can you sing?
sing for me?
Then that's who's doing the singing. But you can dance though.
But
It's
then
the
I
singing
look
part.
right here, and then,
You got to sing and dance. When somebody say hello, you can't just say hello back. You got to sing it and dance it.
hello.
Yeah, whenever you say a word, you got to have a move with it. Or you can just skip wherever you're going.
I sing and dance. Yeah, I sing and dance. But I ain't about to be just skipping for no damn reason. I seen the dude do that in the gym, man. We was in the gym and he just skipped. He was going after his girl, but he skipped. And I was like, this dude skipping in the gym in front of all of us? It was a dude. This cat skipping in front of all of us? He skipped. He was skipping. I was like, because I thought, well, maybe that's the exercise he's doing. But no, he was happy and he went to his girl. So when he went to his girl, I was like, oh, okay.
Okay, he don't lose too much credit.
I mean, you do what you do.
All right, this is the last.
But I just ain't about to be skipping.
I mean, skipping though. He skipped to his girl, bro. He ain't just run up to her.
Skipped. Like, oh,
Can you show me how he skipped? I was trying to set you up.
okay. I sure can't give a demonstration. I never did that together. Nah.
All right, this is the last one, bro. This is the last question. You got to choose between being stuck in an elevator with somebody that panics, or stuck on a long road trip with somebody that never stops talking?
Ooh, with either one of them, the elevator is a short thing. What you mean? How long I'm stuck on the elevator?
Ain't no telling.
Ain't
Ain't-
no telling.
as long as the road trip, they're the same amount of time. Let's just say it.
Long road trip now. Long road trip to some people be like a couple hours, or like 5.
With somebody that never stop talking.
Then somebody that panic.
So every minute feel like an hour.
Right? See, with both of those situations, I know I would lose patience and probably chop him in the throat. But which one? The one that panicked, I have to disable him, like both of his kneecaps, because he gonna be acting all crazy in the elevator. Then I gotta break both his kneecaps. Sweet, sit down. So, dude, I'm on a long road trip and the dude talking. I would probably just drive, and like right before I get to the mountain, I dive out the car and I just let him run off the road. That's the scenario. So yeah, I stick with the elevator dude because I know he gonna be acting all crazy and stuff. So I would immediately both his legs. Legs. And so then he just there, you know. But I know he ain't gonna be doing that. The dude that's just talking, man, I would be dry, and I'm dry.
Yeah.
If you do not shut up, I'm telling you, I'm gonna run you off the road, man. Yeah, I don't have no patience, people. Now that's what I pray for all the time, patience, because I know I don't have it.
You a silly cat.
I take an elevator.
This is a difficult for me. That's a difficult. I think dealing with the dude in an elevator is a lot easier to deal with.
Yeah.
Cause I could just knock him out.
Exactly. Yeah.
I just knock him out.
Just knock him out.
But it takes too much activity for me to focus on not having a wheel with the other dude. I'm driving.
The only thing you can do.
To
Hey man, stop talking. And he'd be like, man, but you know, we know.
And then
No.
now you got to pull over and stop, and that ain't a part of the deal. You got to keep driving and deal with the talking.
Yeah, no, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Nah.
I can.
If somebody in an elevator with me,
I'm scared.
and let's just say they claustrophobic or something.
Right.
I don't understand how claustrophobic people can take an airplane flight, but not be claustrophobic in the car. It's just, and then when they get in the elevator, it's the thought that is stuck.
Mm-hmm.
They feel like they're in danger.
Well, you know what? When you said
It's just.
when you said the car part, that's probably because they think, you know, well, I'll just roll the window down.
That don't expand your space. That just give you more air. So just
that's what the problem is.
the thought process they got is a little different from
Yeah.
it. But when they stuck on the elevator, they feel like it's getting smaller.
Mm-hmm. You ever watch Monk?
So I'm going to help them out and knock them out.
Yeah.
Boop! Right on the mandible bone. I'm just.
Right.
It's not because I don't like them or anything. I'm helping them out.
Helping them out.
The longer you sleep, the
less chance of you getting all worked up.
Yeah, but you would break their legs, so they got to sit there.
Yeah, they got to sit there.
But they'll realize, like, I'm still here and ain't nothing going on. I'm just in pain because of my legs.
My legs hurt.
It's the major pain theory.
Right. Now they won't be able to walk for 16 weeks.
Yeah, but the pain of them legs is stopping from thinking about being stuck on the elevator though.
See?
So I also would pick the dude on the elevator. I would just use I would knock him out, or I would beat the hell out of him until he go to sleep.
Right. Take it down.
I would just be boop, 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 boop. And then when you wake up, the rescue team is coming, and then you wake up. You don't know how long we've been in there. But a dude in the car talking to me the whole time, I might be able to deal with that for a half a state.
No,
I actually got a lot of patience.
I ain't got that much. You know how long the half
But-
state is?
A half a state,
Right?
like 4 hours. I deal with it for that long.
4 hours of
I deal with it for that long.
non-stop talking.
I mean, I used to work with a cat like this. And he was the crew lead, and it was his truck. So he picked me up for work, and we go to where we got to get to. He never stopped talking. It was never about nothing that I wanted to talk about. He would talk about how many ducks he got, how many chickens he got, how many eggs both of them lay, the size of the different eggs, who the nastiest duck you can ever, what species is the nastiest duck, and what species is the best duck, what species of rooster you shouldn't have next to these other kind of chickens, what kind of rabbits you should have. I'm like, where the hell rabbits come from? We was talking about chickens. It went for a long time, man. I know how many eggs they could lay in a week. I know how much a duck egg costs opposed to a chicken egg. Like, I got some patience, bro. But the difference is, I didn't put this in consideration. The difference is I was getting paid. It was a job that we were going to go do. So I was getting paid to do that. If we're just on a road trip and you're doing it, I really don't know how. I got patience though. So I could deal with them for a while, but it's going to end up being difficult for them because I'm not going to be in the car. Like you said, you just jump out the car.
While it's driving.
Now, would you rather be in a car when the driver jump out, or would you rather just get knocked out? That's like a second extension to this question. Would you rather get knocked out by somebody or be in a car in the passenger seat and the driver jump out? I'd rather be the dude in the elevator.
Yeah,
I'd rather get knocked out.
I'd rather be in the passenger seat because I'm fast enough. I'm fast enough to get in that driver's seat and get that car right. I'm fast enough to put that car in park. It might mess up the transmission, but it's gonna stop.
I'd rather get knocked out.
I don't know, man.
Because if you're in the passenger seat in that car, and let's say it's a bend coming around.
Oh, he jump out right at the bend.
And he jump out on that bend.
I'm jumping too.
And you got your seatbelt on.
As soon as I see him taking his seatbelt off, I'm taking mine off. You taking your seatbelt off for dog? Let me click. What? You taking it off? I see you grab the door handle. I'm grabbing the door handle. We both jumping. Must be something wrong with the car.
I could dig it.
I ain't about to get knocked out.
You want another one, or that's the end?
We're gonna save him. Save him for the next show, y'all, because he got a whole bunch of them. We're gonna save him for the next show.
I got a whole bunch of them.
Yeah. Let us know what you think about. Give us all executive decisions so we can see if we was on point or not.
Yeah, let us know which way y'all going, and then that last one had an extension to it where it was a executive decision within itself.
Right.
Would you rather be the person in the elevator panicking, or would you rather be the dude in the passenger seat where the driver jump out? That wasn't a part of the original one.
Nah, that's worse. I'd rather be in the elevator panicking.
Yeah, because you could just knock them out. But you don't want to be the knockout E.
Nah, I don't want to be the one receiving the knockout.
Yeah. So like, subscribe, leave your comments on the executive decisions. Let us know which side you would choose.
Exactly.
Let us know which side you would choose. Shout outs to Riverside, this who sponsored the event that we watching right now. Showtime in Sanford, Surreal Talk Radio, Power of Two Income Builders, Live Good. Am I forgetting anybody, bro?
Pillow Talk Podcast.
Pillow Talk Podcast, the relationship extraordinaires.
Yeah, it is.
If you like relationship advice, check that out.
Check it out.
It don't cost nothing. All you got to do is tune in at the right time.
Tune in, and it's live. 8 o'clock.
What time that
8
starts?
o'clock on Sundays. 8 o'clock on Sunday, Facebook Live. Catch it live. Facebook Live.
8 o'clock Sundays, the Pillow Talk. And then right after that, Monday, is the Work Boss Strategy.
Bam, bam.
How you like that?
I like that, y'all, man. Gabe D.
Darvest.
Holla.
We'll get with you later.
Yeah.